Hello, guys, and welcome back to Figuring Out Friday, presented to you by Healing Your Way and your precious host, Mike and Mike. Well, today we'll be talking about flu and cold season. We know flu and cold is like unavoidable thing and during this period of time. And today we'll be talking about how to tackle it with a holistic approach. And as you guys can hear, I'm recovering myself too, and I'll share some tips during our episode. Well, Michael, you got anything to say?
Yeah, I'm fortunate enough not to be sick just yet. I know everybody, especially on the East Coast, is about to get hit with heavy snowstorms. So I pray you guys stay safe and warm this weekend, and no flu infection as well. So that's what I have to say so far.
Well, today's episode will be a little different. Today we'll have precious guest on, Minu Patel, our hypnosis specialist and also Healing Your Way owner. And she's also holistic care practitioner. So she'll be sharing some tips, some information about flu and cold, and what we can do to make sure we can recover from this thing.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. Well, Michael, you want to start or I'll start?
Yeah. So again, guys, the flu is a viral infection that's you guys know a lot of you guys know it's caused by the influenza virus. And of course, each year there might be a different strain out there, because the virus just keeps adapting, and this targets all your respiratory system. So that's eyes, nose, throat, and your lungs. I didn't mean to say eyes, but and it just sucks because this doesn't stay localized. So once this virus enters your body, it feels like your whole body just get hit by a truck. And a lot of people do associate this with the cold weather because it just pushes more people to stay indoors, and this just increases that close contact. um, Maybe it dries out your nasal passages, or reducing sunlight, which all of this helps the virus spread and just weakening your immune system. And
Yep.
this can also, yeah, this can also wreck your sleep, your appetite, just mess up your training, and this can leave people exhausted for days or weeks.
And also just to make it clear, like all this fever, body aches and sore throat, congestion, cough, everything that's showing up as a symptom, that means our immune system is fighting this viral infection, which means it is good. And some people might think that when these symptoms show up, it's like virus is winning, but it's completely otherwise. Like your body depletes you out of the energy so you can take some rest and let your immune system like fight back this virus. Well, Minnow, I have a question for you. Like when you come across like sick people at the clinic, or maybe some of your friends or families approaching you, like first of all, like let's say someone doesn't know like what flu actually does. Like how do you explain that to them?
Mm.
Like the
So,
same way that we did, or do you have any specific
yeah.
approach?
See, as a virologist, because I did 16 years research in drug discovery, and a lot of it was in virology. So I made a lot of vaccines and things like that. So I actually have a totally different outlook on everything right now. Yes, what you said is what is believed and understood to be sickness, right?
Mm-hmm.
Flu. But these days, they can't tell you the difference between flu, COVID, respiratory syncytial virus, or flu like illnesses that are happening, right? Because your immune response is same. It's the same no matter what happens. So after doing all those years of drug discovery and seeing what's happening, and then getting into hypnosis and what I do now, right? What I learned is, first of all, let's remember that viruses like bacteria and yeast and mold are all and parasites are all opportunistic infections, right?
Mm.
You had taught that step 1 first day
Yep.
in biology class, right? They're opportunistic. So that means that you have to create an opportunity for them to even do anything to you. Why are there some people that never get sick and there's others that get sick all the time? Danny got sick in my house, right?
Mm-hmm.
None of us got sick. None of us. So what was happening with him that wasn't happening with us? And what's happened in the last so many years of my life, I should say 18 to 20 years, what I've learned is they say viruses and flus and things like that, right? You learn it all the time. Every virus has a different incubation period. Sure. You know what? For me, when I'm about to see somebody who's going to get sick, I already have a stomach ache.
Mm.
A lot of times before I even see them, because I've already connected with them. Okay? If I'm with somebody who is sick and I'm just in connection with them, it doesn't take me 5 days. I go home and I already start feeling unwell and I already catch something. So why is that? So I've always asked myself the question, and I'm more inclined to believe that it's an energetic thing. Okay? So if you are depleted of your energy is low, you're weak, or you take on other people's things, which I tend to do being a practitioner in the way that I work. In order to understand somebody, I'll pick up their energy. So if they're in my space or I'm going to work with them, I pick up the illness or the energy already. I used to get migraine headaches when I consistently saw a person. And that's when I realized that that migraine headache wasn't mine. It was the person I was seeing. Now, how does that happen if we're not looking at this correctly, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I've looked at it as an energetic thing. As in, if you are low in energy, your body is depleted, you're getting not enough sleep, not enough sun, not enough water, not enough proper nutrition, not enough mental, emotional, like meditation and things like that, right? And not proper exercise. If any of those things are off balance or you're not doing them well, you're going to compromise yourself. And then if somebody is sick around you or somebody is depressed around you or somebody is there not feeling good in any way, they'll just suck your energy and then you'll end up with what they got.
Okay. So it's like when like life is stressful, maybe you overwork, maybe you overtrain, like all those kind of things, and your sleep is inconsistent,
Mm-hmm. Consistent.
consistent, yeah, inconsistent, and maybe you eat like junk food, you don't eat clean food,
Yes.
and all this like if we imagine immune function is like budget, your let's say 80% of your budget goes to the stress and your survival. So that 20 left over is fighting for infection. So that means like if your life is stressful and you're just overworking yourself, like have you ever heard like vacation sickness? When people take vacation, they immediately get sick. Like
Yeah.
that's the main reason, right? Why people get sick. Like they're stressed out in their everyday life, but the moment they take that resting period, their body says, "Okay, now it's time to rest if you want to rest." And they just get knocked out.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
I think I'd be down for vacation sickness any day.
As long as you had enough time to actually enjoy the vacation, right?
Yeah. But then this
So,
also makes me kind of wonder, like, with the how the world is set up, it's kind of hard to give people like a kind of like a fighting chance when it comes to recovering from, let's say, this flu season, just because of all the things that Mike just mentioned, like sleep, light, food, or stress, and your cortisol. So
Yep.
and again, also the processed food, that goy slop. So it makes it very difficult to again fight off the infections.
Yeah, definitely. And then you're under blue light, right?
Yeah.
Wi-Fi all day long. And so basically, if it's an opportunistic infection, guess what? You gave it opportunity. And then you got sick.
Yeah. Also, like the reason why this flu and cold, or even like all these infections are more in during winter time, is because like all this cold weather, sunlight, less sunlight, people doesn't go outside, and all these things are like impacting us. We might, I think in my opinion, from what you said, like people might think they got flu and cold, but just because they don't get enough sunlight, enough grounding, or just being outside, I think it might be something else going on, and people just call it flu and cold. But
Yeah.
some there might be something caused by that less get taking the less sunlight and stuff like that.
Yeah. I mean, we have to think about the fact that we have to transition from a summer or a fall diet to a winter diet
Mm-hmm.
also. And if our stomach isn't adjusted to that and doesn't provide enough energy for our system, right? And you're not having a lot of soups and nutrient dense foods, winter nutrient dense foods, right? That also make a difference. Vitamin D is important. When I go outside, I walk in the winter too, right? Get my 10,000 steps in the sun. I think that helped me a lot. That helped me tremendously because usually I'm the first to get sick or the second, but I'm going to get sick. If somebody's sick, I'm going to get it. And I didn't this time. But what I was doing was I was outside since summer? I was outside doing my 10,000 steps in the sun every day, and that made a huge difference for me this year, I think.
So let's go into like preparation. How can we prep for the season, and like
Mhm.
I mean, I guess that 10,000 steps and getting sunlight every day before winter season also falls into that preparation. And what else do you do to prep for this season?
To prep for the season, fasting, right? You've been doing a lot of fasting
Yeah.
too, right? That was huge, I think, for me this time. I've always done a lot of fasting, but this time around it was fasting and then doing the steps and being out in the sun. It was a combination of all those things. And with my meals, when I was eating, and after I was done my dry fast, my liquid fast,
Mhm.
I was on a diet where it was just whole foods and bone broth soup almost at least every day, if not both meals. I was having 2 meals a day with first thing I do is drink a couple glasses of water, which is very important to hydrate yourself. And right before you go out in the sun, because if you watched, if Sahan and Joshan did a water podcast, and they talked about the exclusion zone and what happens when you get out in the sun in the morning and you put your feet down on the ground and you're grounding in the dew, it actually helps you a lot. So if you drink some water and you're having that, exposing yourself to the sunlight and your body's starting to make the vitamin D and things like that, it can only help your system a lot better. So a couple of glasses of water, some bone broth soup, be out in the sun. Those kinds of things are always fasting. Those are things to get you started, to stay healthy. Meditate, right?
Yeah.
Mental, emotional, you always got to keep that in check. Breathing exercises.
So this also, like all these things that you named, I guess, also can be taken and put into your daily routine, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%. And that's maintaining health, right? So you want to maintain health, And this was one of the things I think Jack Cruz talks about thermogenesis, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if you look at different countries and what they do, in India, you have plenty of sun. You just go out in the sun, you'll be fine. It's nice weather, you go out in the sun. In Russia and Sweden, they go out in the cold in the winter. They don't get the sun. You don't have to have the sun. Your body can be that, like, thermostat, or not thermostat, kind of like a burner. You know what I mean? You have to have that inner burner that sets the fire for your metabolism to function well. And so in Russia, they're outside in the cold. And I've seen where they have schools where the kids will go and take, I think, a cold shower. I don't know. They put them in the water for somehow, and then they go outside with clothes off and they roll in the snow.
Yeah.
Right? Have you seen these things?
They
Yep,
also
absolutely.
like kids go outside and they just get a bucket of water and just pour them down. Like it's and straight up snow outside and you have to roll in it.
Yeah. Just to get your body to produce its own heat. That's all it is, right? So if the sun doesn't give you that energy, that doesn't mean you cannot produce that energy. Because have you heard of sonoluminescence?
Nope.
Sonoluminescence is star in a jar. There was an experiment done in a dark room. They put a beaker of water, and there was an air bubble in there in the water, and then there was just sound. Okay, now the sound was moving the water, and it was spinning. So what would happen was the air bubble would develop and then collapse. It would develop again and collapse. Now, every time it developed in a totally dark room and then collapsed, at the moment of collapse, it would release so much light. Okay? In a dark room, and that's why it was enough light to be as the sun would, right? That's why they call it star in a jar. Where'd the light come from?
This is called sun luminescent.
Sonoluminescence.
Where do they get this?
I don't know. Somebody did an experiment, and I don't know the scientists, but if you watch the videos on YouTube, they have it, right?
Okay.
So basically, water and sound. We are 70% water. Breathing, it makes sound in our body, right? That's why proper breathing is always very important. When I go for walks, I realize my body naturally adjusts my breathing because I close my mouth and I breathe through my nose and this belly breath. So
and most people, sorry to interrupt.
No, go ahead.
Like most people don't know actually how to breathe with their diaphragm, and they only breathe with their like cervical area, and not cervical, like upper rib area, and that also might cause an issue. Like you might not realize, like, but people who breathe with chest, they actually doesn't supply their body with enough oxygen, and this oxygen will help that reaction with sunlight and all that frequency. Also, frequency plays a big role in everyday life, and I think since frequency, I would say meditation. Probably, I meditate, and I think it helps a lot.
Yeah.
Because like you set your whole mind and whole body onto like different frequency, and when you just stay still, I think that does miracle, you know.
100%.
And you're also able to focus solely on just your breathing as well, I would say. And again, like there's so many, all the cells in your body use oxygen. So there was the myth that I'm sure is true, that if you fix your breathing and just learn to breathe better, it increases your life expectancy as well because your cells are able to use more oxygen.
Yeah.
It's not a myth. It's true. Yeah, because yogis in India, they practice that. And they have actually extended their life with doing that. And Me, Sahan, Joshan, and Krina all did a class for Vasi breathing. And that yogi from India had come around to talk about how doing the breathing technique, if you can do less breaths, hold your breath for more counts once a week, you increase an extra count for the inhalation and exhalation. The less breaths you have, the longer you live. That's what he was saying. And he was teaching the technique, especially during COVID time, to say if you do the breathing technique, it will help combat sickness, especially COVID, because everybody was ending up with respiratory issues and on ventilators in the hospital. So his thing was, do this breathing technique, you'll never end up on a ventilator, and you will overcome, if you get COVID, you'll overcome it fast. And I have to say, the class was 1 week long, and we did the breathing technique, and we monitored our oxygen and our heart rate. I started with, I have dysautonomia, so I have health issues. My heart rate's high sitting. It was at 90, right? When I was done, my heart rate was at 60 something in 1 week, just from breathing techniques. So that is huge. That is huge, you know? Just simple breathing technique, and it can bring your heart rate down. Of course, if it can do that and increase your oxygen, then you will live longer, right?
Yeah. Okay, so like when we feel, let's say someone was not ready and didn't do all this preparations and stuff, and boom, flu season came in, and they just got hit this with this virus. Like, what will be the first symptoms? Like from your experience, like you can't just make straight out say statement about what will be the first symptoms of the flu. So from your experience, like what should someone notice about themselves that they are starting to have these symptoms, and what they should do? What should be their first steps to like reverse this reaction?
Yeah, so most people, like if you get the flu, everybody, like you said, everybody presents differently, right? Maybe I will present with sinus issues because I always get that. That's my number one thing. Somebody else will have stomach issues present first, right? They might have constipation or diarrhea or gas or whatever it is, unable to digest their food well. So everybody's going to feel something different. Somebody might have an ear infection, right? So you may want to look for that, runny nose, sore throat. So basically, ear, nose, and throat are all connected, and stomach. So when you're sick, all of those things get impacted. And here's an interesting thing I learned, which I didn't know until somebody had unexpected had mentioned it to me, and I looked everything up. We always think that the thing that you're going to get impacted first is your nose and your mouth, right? Sinuses, but nobody thinks about addressing their ears, right? So one thing I learned was a doctor's like, when you get sickness, and maybe this is true in Chinese medicine also, because when you get sickness, it comes from the back of your neck. That's where you catch the cold, right? So when you catch a cold there, your ears are right there. And when you said eyes get impacted too, Michael. And so if you put hydrogen peroxide in your ears, it actually helps prevent, because the hydrogen peroxide gets soaked in through your ear canal. It goes right in, and it goes ear, nose, throat, stomach.
Yeah.
And hydrogen peroxide, interestingly, brings a lot of oxygen to your body. No? So if you put some hydrogen peroxide in a few drops, add some castor oil too, and then castor oil is one of those things that it's a special oil, holds lots of light. It's probably the oil that holds the most light, and it's the most healing oil. You should definitely have that in your cabinet. And so you look for the sniffles, you look for sometimes you wake up with mucousy eyes, right?
Yeah.
So these kinds of things. But, you know, there's no reason to panic or you automatically say you got the flu or something. It could just be a simple, easy sinus infection or a simple, easy stomach issue.
Hmm.
But first thing to do basically is make sure you get your sunlight in the morning. And I usually use Tiger Balm, right? Tiger Balm. It's monkey holding peach balm. I was hoping to have a container to show you. I don't have one. But
I got 2 of them right here.
there you go. Yes. So you get the Tiger Balm and rub it right on your belly, right?
Yeah.
So if you got uneasy stomach, you rub it right on your belly, and that will ease the stomach. And you can rub the Tiger Balm and open up your sinuses. You can rub the Tiger Balm on the back of your head, right at the base of your neck, wherever the tension is, it'll help ease it. And then the first thing should I go into what I would do first when you get
Yep.
sick?
Sure.
Because these are things that we use. Okay? There's always many ways to, skin a cat, right? Isn't that what they say? So I'm going to tell you what we do in our family and what we recommend is gua sha. That's the first thing. Step 1. You get sick, that's easy. Open up your sinuses, fix your stomach by rubbing this on, and do the gua sha. Gua sha activates your... Sorry, you want to say something?
No, I was going to say because like they might be inflamed that spot, and gua sha will help to like decompress that spot and just get the fluids moving.
Yeah, exactly. It helps. It has the effect of increasing circulation.
Mm-hmm.
And and it has a cooling and heating effect at the same time. So doing the gua sha on the back, it hits all the nerves, your whole nervous system, right? And it basically brings the heat out and allows the process of healing to happen. So it moves along the sickness, if you have one, so much faster. And your recovery is a lot better. So if you were going to be sick for 5-6 days, it'll probably be 2 or 3 days, So that's the number one thing that we do in our family is go to gua sha. And after gua sha, wrap yourself up in a blanket and take a good nap. Because sleep is very important, and people don't realize the reason they're sick is because they need a rest. They need a break. And that was what we are talking about in the beginning, right?
Yep.
So you want me to continue with remedies, or do you guys want to?
Well, just to make comments before that about this thing, like for the hydrogen peroxide, like I didn't know like the science behind it, but in Georgia, actually like a couple of times I did it when I had like ear pain or something like that, but like I didn't know how it was helping. But I guess Georgians look at some myth going on, and actually it's true.
Yeah. If you learn something from your culture that your mom did, your grandmother did, or did to help you when you were sick, it's not a myth. It's real. It works. You got to follow that.
Yeah. Also,
Yeah, I
like
thought
cats. Go ahead.
sorry, I thought the gua sha was like a myth too, but like again in my culture, they instead of like the actual gua sha tool, they just use like a quarter penny again with that Tiger Balm, and then they just scrape your back up and down.
Yeah.
And then that always helps me as well.
Yeah, we used to have the coin as well. They have that special coin that doesn't have the ridges, right? Smooth ends. And yeah, exactly. Yeah.
If needed, they'll just use a normal coin. You just gotta endure the pain.
Oh my god. That's crazy. Yeah.
Also, castor oil. Like castor oil, a lot of people don't know like benefits of castor oil, and like even I know some people don't even know the existence of castor oil. So what going back to it, like why would you say people should have it, and like let's say just top of or your head. Give me like top five functions of castor oil and benefits of it.
So castor oil holds light. Castor oil, it gets absorbed into your skin really easily, right? That's why it's effective. There are oils that you can put on that won't absorb into your skin so well. So then the effect would be more superficial. But castor oil gets absorbed right into your skin. So if you put it on your liver, like you take a piece of cloth, like a white cloth, right? And you just layer the castor oil on and put it on the liver. And you put it there for 40 minutes with some wet heat on top. It will detox your liver. So when you're sick, it is a great thing to do to detox your liver. If you've got joint pain, put it on your joints. You know, you can do the same thing. Put that pack of cloth with with the castor oil and leave it there. People use it for that. If you, when we in India, this is what my mom did. If you can't breathe, okay, you warm up the castor oil and put a few drops in your nose because it'll line your nasal passage and ease everything and reduce the inflammation. So you can use it. Castor oil you can put in any part of your body, and I'm sorry to say it this way, but you can put it in any hole in your body and it'll work well. Okay, because they use it for, if you're constipated, they will use it as a suppository. If you in India, and if you are also constipated and you take a shot of it, it'll move your bowels. Okay, so castor oil you can put in your nose, you can put in your ears. It'll soak in and help with healing, reduce the inflammation, get everything flowing, detox the area, and really it has an easing effect. Once you use it, it kind of relaxes the whole area. And I don't know if you're aware, I want to talk a little bit of science for a moment. There's an experiment, this is a military experiment that was done, right? With DNA. They took the DNA of a person, cheek cells or whatever, and they extracted the DNA and they put it in a vacuum in a room. They exposed the person to different kinds of movies to watch. Some love scenes, some, like a love flick, horror film, violence, peaceful, calm film. And they watch what happened to the DNA. And though it was separated from the person, what happened was whenever it was something violent or horror or anything like that, anything stressful, the DNA would supercoil. Okay? So now all the machinery, the healing machinery of your DNA does not have access to fix anything that goes wrong. But when they were exposed to peaceful, calm, loving things, the DNA opened up. And your DNA is also full of light. So when you meditate, your DNA opens up. Mm-hmm. And now all the machinery can heal itself. You have DNA repair machinery. So everything can be healed and repaired when you ease it. Castor oil is one of those things that eases and brings light and opens that up. Just like breathing, just like meditation, that brings healing. Because your body heals itself.
I remember you telling me that that case study just because of a certain situation that was going on with me, and how, again, that DNA can be separated, but whatever happens to you or that DNA will affect each other. Again, that it's like that energy transfer you were talking about. So that was a really cool, fascinating study that I learned from you. And I just had a question, which was, how fast do you think the castor oil could clear, like, let's say your nasal sinuses? Because right now I have a friend who he's dealing with a lot of congestion, but he would just he's been squirting up saline solution up into his nose, and it kind of fixes it temporarily, but doesn't look like it's doing too much.
Do you use the neti pot? Just
A what?
saline solution. The neti pot.
Just
You know what a
I
neti?
actually have it right here.
Okay. Real live demonstration.
Mhm.
Ah,
It's right here. I'm
I
just not gonna
see.
touch the tip of that because it
Mm-hmm.
is nose. But
Okay.
I,
Well, that
I might
should.
have to pick castor oil.
Yeah. Well, castor oil can help, but I have a So for the sinuses, use the tiger balm. The castor oil can help. The neti pot will help. But there's this tea, herbal tea called Breathe Easy.
Mhm.
You can get in the grocery store. That will open up as well. Does he? It also depends on what's going on with him. Is he having mucus?
Yes, he's having mucus. He's drinking a tea as well. I'm just not sure what tea, but it's not the Breathe Easy tea.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just gonna search it up right now before I forget.
Yeah, write that up. A Breathe Easy tea. You know what would really help him? The castor oil packing on the liver. That will detox. And Mike, you did tiger balm and castor oil on your chest and your throat. Did you
Yeah,
try that?
I was doing that. Yep,
Did it open your nose up as well?
yep.
Yeah.
Like my runny nose was getting less, and I mean sometimes it was just getting congestion, and then it was runny, and I think
Mm-hmm.
sometimes I just open this up and then
Do
go
that.
like
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So Michael, first the tiger balm. You put that. You can put tiger balm right around your sinuses. Put the tiger balm on the throat and the chest because it will come up this way. You'll smell it because that will address the whole respiratory. And then put castor oil on top of that because the tiger balm will open up, and then the castor oil will also have the chance to go in there and ease everything up and reduce inflammation. Does that make sense? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Since we're on this topic, let's move into like herbs and teas and like what's your recommendation here? Do you add any herbs to your teas or do you get already
Yeah.
packed up teas?
I
That's the
drink. Yeah, I drink that Breathe Easy tea. I love to drink that because I
Mhm.
constantly have respiratory issues anyway. So the Breathe Easy tea, it's just an herbal tea with it has Bian pin in it, which is a Chinese herb, and that fights sinus infections, inflammation, and it has other things in there. I think it might have elderberry or something like that in there. Maybe turmeric. Turmeric is always very good. One of the recipes or remedies that Indian people use all the time is golden milk, which has gone crazy here in the U.S. And there's so many funny concoctions of it that if you see, and then you have it ready made, which is also funny because who does it ready made? You can make it in 2 seconds in your house, you know. And you have packages of golden milk they sell you for $5, which is
Well, let's educate our audience and teach them how to make it.
Yeah, well, there's different ways to do it because Indian people, we have no problem with dairy, right? So usually we use some milk, warm up the milk, add some ghee, because that is also very healing, like castor oil. And it's a great, like, lubricant, right? It eases the inflammation. You add milk, ghee, some salt. You want it to be salty because salt fights infection. Right? And then add turmeric, right? To taste. It's going to taste salty. You only need a little bit of it, like maybe quarter of a cup, not even. That's all you need to drink. And you just drink it warm, okay? And the milk is also sticky, just like the ghee is sticky. And it helps the turmeric stick to your throat and everything as it goes down. And turmeric will help your digestion. It helps inflammation, and it'll help. It has an antibacterial effect, so wherever it's sitting, it's going to have that effect, and so will the salt. It'll make the salt sit there too in that area, because bacteria don't like salt. So this is what golden milk is, one of the remedies that in India, you get sick and that's the first thing your mom gives, and that's what I remember to have. You can do that without the milk. If you can't do the milk, just use water. That's totally fine. But that's one thing. But the thing that's really important, I think, is bone broth soup. Danny was sick and he was not doing well for a whole week. He was actually surprisingly didn't go to work, and that's not normal. And so I said, hey, you're always telling us to have some bone broth soup. How about you? So I made some bone broth soup. And yesterday he says, oh, I want some bone broth soup because that stuff gave me so much energy. So, and bone broth soup, as I was telling you earlier, how the breathing reduced my heart rate. I actually one day was, testing my blood pressure and it had a heart rate thing. And before I ate, I was testing my blood pressure. It happened to be low. My heart rate was high like usual. It was 80 something. After I had my meal and I had bone broth soup and I tested my blood pressure and everything again, my heart rate was down to 59. That stuff works really well. Bone broth soup has so many nutrients in it. Besides, remember, your bones have stem cells and things like that actually help healing, right? When you get sick, where the cells come from that help heal? From the bones.
Yep.
So it's very important to have bone broth soup. Get your vitamin D. And here's an interesting thing actually I have, which was a surprise to me. You get water, stick some fruit in it.
Fruit?
Fruit. Yeah.
Okay.
Just, right? Have you heard of that? Either of you?
Nope.
So I'll give you.
It before. Some people might just like do that for and then make popsicles too with it. I don't know, or just have it in your ice and then you can add it into your water just to make it cold, but just to get the fruit in there.
Yeah, it was interesting, and I'll tell you a really funny story because there was a woman who was a massage therapist who was drinking fruit infused water, and I thought, what a gimmick! What is this? I said, what's your fruit infused water? She says, oh, I got cantaloupe and blah, blah, blah in there today. I said, okay, and I was joking about it. So one day when family was together and I had lots of fruit sitting there left over that we got for everybody to share, and I had a headache the whole day and I couldn't get rid of it. And I was on my way out to go back to my house. And there was so much fruit sitting there, and there was a clear plastic glass. So I was joking with my niece. I said, hey, why don't you have some fruit with your water, infuse your fruit with water. It'd be really good, and it's going to look pretty. I had lots of berries, so I just actually threw it in there. Orange slice, raspberries, blackberries, strawberries, and I put water in there. And I was driving away and sipping on the water I took with the fruit in there. Do you know, I was blown away. By the time I got home, I had done everything to get rid of my headache. I took medicine and it didn't work. But I drank that water and it was gone. It was gone, my headache.
So would you say it would work if you say you just had a fruit bowl and then water?
Yeah. No, it's not the
No?
same.
It
Not the
has to
same
be infused?
process.
Has to be infused?
Well, think about it. If you are drinking bone broth soup, and I was having this discussion with Sahan just yesterday, if you are having liquid versus actual food with fiber or whatever in it, right? What gets sucked into your bloodstream faster? The
The
liquid.
liquids.
Yeah, because the rest has to be processed. So all water-soluble vitamins sitting in the fruit leach out into the water, and you're drinking it. That's why my doctor, who's really good, he always says, a pinch of salt and lime in your water. And what you do is when you add the fruit, you can drink it, and then when you get this much, don't go to the end. Just fill it up with water again, so you'll have concentrated amount. So give it like 5-10 minutes for the stuff to leach out. But that is a great remedy to just have every day when you're sick. Just throw some berries in there, especially blackberries have a lot of nutrients. Blueberries, you can squish it a little bit and just drink that stuff up. It tastes pretty good too, you know. So you don't realize it until something happens, and then you go, well, maybe that fruit infused water has something good in there, right?
Yeah,
So,
I didn't. I had to infuse, but the moment I got sick, I straight up changed up my diet: ginger, honey,
mhm.
lemon tea,
Yeah.
and just fruits. Like for 2 day, I
Mhm.
was just on fruits and that tea, and I think it actually helped me because like I broke the fever that first day. Then
Yeah.
I started sweating out and everything was coming out. But after 2 days, I stopped having fever, and
Mhm.
then I started using castor oil, tiger balm, also um, like flaxseed and clove tea. Like so, I
Mhm.
would drink that sometimes.
How
And
did you make your flaxseed tea?
I have green tea.
Mhm.
So I put flaxseed and cloves in it, green tea, and then I put boiling water and let it sit for like 10-15 minutes, and I just take out the cloves and just eat the flaxseed in it.
So it's flaxseed meal or whole flaxseed?
It's just seeds and the thing.
It's interesting because one of the remedies that I use all the time, and Joshua was making fun of me earlier for not remembering. You remember right before we got on was a
Yeah.
flaxseed tea in the winter. Michael, your friend who's got the nasal
Mhm.
problem, here's a great thing: 2 tablespoons of raw flaxseed in half a liter of water, clean water, right? Simmer
Mhm.
it for the real recipe is a little different, but I don't have time to wait overnight. Basically, you're supposed to bring it to a boil and then take it off heat and leave it overnight and then simmer it next morning for an hour. Okay, but I just do the 2 tablespoons of flaxseed in half a liter water and I simmer it for an hour, right?
Mm,
And it becomes goopy
okay.
because flaxseed is goopy.
Hmm.
So you filter out the flax seeds and you use the goop like like a stock for making tea. So you take some of the goop and you add hot water. That turns off the dehydration because one of the things that happens in wintertime is dehydration and that makes people sick. Okay?
Yeah.
Because when you don't have enough water in your system, now all the toxins and everything are in a lot less amount of liquid and fluid in your body, right?
Yeah.
So that's
It's not
um,
concentrated.
yeah, exactly. So the flaxseed tea actually hydrates your body. It's really good for your skin and nails, so you know it's hydrating, right? And and for your hair. And what it does is turns off the dehydration switch in your colon. And all of a sudden, when I cannot breathe, that's the first thing I go to is a flaxseed tea. So I just make it and I drink that, and I'm able to breathe like right away. It helps my breathing a lot. But you did the right thing, actually, Mike. Even though maybe simmer the flaxseed tea for a little bit longer, you
Mm.
know, and that would help. That helps your sinuses a lot.
The part where you kind of let it rest overnight, is that just for the seed to absorb more liquid before you get that like goop and then pour the tea on?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
I think maybe it pulls out more of the oily part because flax
Okay.
seeds have that layer, the oily layer. If you've ever, they're very oily. They're not like dry seeds, not like pumpkin seeds or something. So it basically, when you add the water, it's gonna take that stuff off. You're probably getting more of that into your liquid if you let it sit overnight.
And one of the home treatments we used to do in Georgia was we used to get eucalyptus leaves and
Hmm.
just boil them and put the towel on top of it and just inhale that.
Yeah.
I I mean They don't got eucalyptus like leaves out here available, but is there any substitutions that people can do?
Yeah, menthol,
Menthol.
right? There are, you can get, like, you can do that with Tiger Balm because
Hmm.
Tiger Balm has camphor and menthol in it, right?
Okay.
So what we do is, because we use, Indian people use Vicks vapor rub. You just put that in your pot of boiling water. You just add a spoon of that in there and you do the same thing. Cover your head, right? You can do the same thing instead of Vicks. You do, I think Tiger Balm's even better.
Hmm.
And so, because it's a healing ointment, it probably has less petroleum and junk in it than Vicks does. And you do the same thing, and that will help your friend too be able to breathe better, Michael. So he can cover his head, and that's a good remedy. I don't use it that often, but when I was young, that was a go-to for my parents. Always did that.
What about incense? Like the eucalyptus incense, would that be something?
It can, if you don't have too much respiratory problems, like if you don't have sinus issues, like for example, people who have mast cell issues where everything triggers them and gives them allergies, the incense may not be so helpful. But generally, you're correct because the eucalyptus, those the diffusers, is that what it is?
Yeah.
You can add eucalyptus oil to them, and that will. They also have bath bombs now, shower bombs or something they're called. You can get them from the pharmacy, where you can just put it in the corner of your shower in the heat of the shower, and the water will melt it. And while you're showering with the hot water, it will also open up everything. But you're correct. It's many different ways to do what you're saying. Yeah, that's very good. Yeah,
That's great.
here's something I have for you guys that is gonna be blow your mind, right? And don't say ew because it works. Okay, and think back in your culture and what people do in your culture. Okay, because Western people have a different mindset. Okay. Here is a remedy that is mind-blowingly good. And I say it that way, is a coffee enema.
Coffee, you know what?
Enema. I know you're going to laugh about it. An enema. Do you know what an enema, right, Michael?
Yeah, I heard about that from you.
Yeah. The thing is, in Asian cultures, everybody does that. That's a normal part of Asian culture. If you have something stuck, what do? You do the same thing what a mechanic does or a plumber does. You clean it up, right?
Yeah.
So that's what in this country they call it colonics. So why go and have somebody else do that to you? Just do it in your own home, in your own comfortable space where you are okay and nobody's touching you, right? And that's where you just have some coffee. You have to get the right kind of coffee. But you know what? I would have never done this because that was my mindset, 100%. Okay? I would have never done this. But after having my third child, I had a lot of health issues. And one of the things was I had a lot of mucus in my system. Okay? I was always swallowing mucus in the back of my throat, and I was sick with sinus issues all the time. And so if you ever read the book Cellular Awakening by Barbara Wren, W-R-E-N, she is a British woman, and she opened a clinic. She was a nurse. And she has a whole bunch of recipes. The flaxseed tea I got from her book as well. Hot and cold tubbing, coffee enemas. And I consulted her because I read the book, loved the book. And she says, all right, she did consultations to help heal. I wanted to get better. So I called her and she says, you can do Epsom salt baths. I said, sure, I can do that. That's easy. You can take these vitamins. Sure, I can do that. How about castor oil packing? I said, sure, I can do that. She says, how about the coffee enema? You know what? I hesitated, right? I didn't want to say yes. I said, okay, sure, I can do that. And I walked away. It rolled in my head for 8 months. But you know, whatever I tell my kids, always try something once. You don't like it, don't ever do it again. Right?
Yeah.
Now, if I didn't try it at least once, I would have been a hypocrite. So it took me 8 months to wrap that in my head. And I went to the pharmacy. I got disposable bottles because I was never going to do it again, right? That's what was in my head. I was never going to do it again, just once. So I made the coffee, put it in the disposable bottles. And you know what? I followed the technique. I was so mind blown. You're supposed to hold it in for 10 to 15 minutes. What the coffee enema does is your liver is connected to your colon with the hepatoportal vein, right?
Mm-hmm.
What the coffee does is it causes the hepatoportal vein to spasm, and it causes the liver to kind of spasm, right? Because it goes through the hepatoportal vein to your liver, and it causes your liver to squeeze out all the toxins that are sitting there. Your liver is your biggest organ when you're sick, to clean your immune system. Now, when you do this, every 5 minutes, your blood gets cleared while you're waiting there, right? So all that mucus I told you I had in my system, I was laying there and I wasn't expecting anything, really was not expecting anything. In 5 minutes of waiting there, I felt all this mucus like literally being sucked down from my head in 5 minutes. So in 15 minutes, it was gone. If that didn't happen, I would have never done it again. Never. That was mind blowing because I tried acupuncture. I tried so many things to get rid of that. So now, stomach issues, okay, feeling lethargic, getting sick. It is one of my top things to have. It's one of my top things. Gua sha, using the castor oil, drinking that herbal tea. The herbal teas also the ones that Danny prescribes because they help me a lot. And then this, because I recover from whatever I'm sick with really fast. These are my things that I do all the time. But you might want to sit with that and consider how that feels, because everybody's doing it, even in the US. It's just a cleanse. It's just a cleanse. Detoxing is the most important thing you can do when you're sick because your immune system's clogged up.
Right. Okay, to just kind of wrap up this topic, just let's go over everything shortly and quick. And you guys tell me if I missed something.
Okay.
So before winter season, just to prep yourself, you have to make sure you get the 10,000 steps outside. If it's outside, not on treadmill, outside under the sun, it will be more preferable because you get sunlight. Do grounding also, since it will balance you out, and all that light, water, frequency will just flume you. And also, so when season gets to it, if you did all those things, you should be already good and should not be concerned about the flu because your body is healthy and ready for everything. But if you get it, then castor oil, tiger balm, herbal teas, and detox should be our first concern because it might be just inflammation and we might call it just flu or cold. So make sure we detox. And I guess for recovery, like how would you ease off? Let's go into recovery real quick, like easing off into then going on into work or maybe going back to training or whatever. Like how would you do it? That transition from sickness to that.
Get back into that routine that you started talking about first, right?
Mhm.
Getting back into doing your breathing techniques, doing your meditation, doing your walk, being out in the sun again, right? Because you were resting the whole time. when you can do that successfully and feel energetic, go back to work. Because you know what? Work is something, you're just a number on if you're working for a company, you're
Yeah.
number one priority. And you got to put yourself first. And you got to take care of yourself and not rush to get back to work because you'll put yourself right back into being sick. So, all those things that you said, get back in that routine until you feel that you're energized and feeling okay. And then, take your vitamins.
Yeah. I guess yeah, my routine was gym, walking, clean
Hmm.
foods, and after that sickness hit me,
Hmm.
the it was just tea and fruits, and now I'm slowly going back into gym. So my advice would be like use first couple of days use like 70-80% max of your strength. Like don't overdo it because
Hmm.
if you overdo it and overstress yourself, there's big chance that you might fall back into it.
Yeah.
So you have to slowly get back to whatever you were doing, and that would
Yeah.
be my approach. Michael, you got
Yeah.
anything? I mean, you
Yeah,
didn't
for
get
sure.
sick.
That's one of the dumbest things I could have done when I was sick was just pushing through the gym and just like double downing and adding extra weight
Mhm.
when really I felt like my joints were heavy and just sore throats and all that. So it's better just take a rest day or like just a light training day, just have a task at hand because I
Mhm.
felt disappointed in myself if I'm not pushing whatever I had at task. So just pointing yourself easier, lighter tasks. And again, just fixing all the big mistakes that people are doing, such as just again before the winter season comes, like maybe under eating, you might have horrible sleep, training too hard, slamming the caffeine, and just ignoring the stress. That can all mess up your immune system. And with uh, just to close off on my side, modern day medicine on the Western side, it keeps everything going well. If it comes to like, let's say, severe symptoms, and this is like fast intervention, or if you're taking like a vaccine or antibiotics, but it doesn't take care of everything that your body needs every day. So again, all this holistic stuff that you need to take care of and that we've been talking about would just determine whether you stay sick for just 3 weeks versus just feeling crappy for just 3 days. So
Yeah.
taking care of
Yeah.
that foundation is what I'm going to close off with.
Mm.
Well, I think this was very informative episode and very great tips dropped here and great ball knowledge. So
Yeah. I enjoyed the
so
conversation.
yep, great conversation, and I hope our audience will learn a thing or two and how to tackle this flu season. It might not be flu. It might not be flu. It might not be what you think it is. So you have to make
Yeah.
sure you take care of your body, detox. Thank you, Mino, for being here and joining us today. And
Thank you for
thank you
having
guys.
me.
Yep.
Hmm.
And thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you. I couldn't see comments, but now I see we had some comments, not questions, but just comments. He says W ball knowledge from Mino W stream. Thank you for your support.
Thank you.
And make sure you guys subscribe and like our videos on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. And we'll be coming back on Monday with Joshua and Zaha's episode. And then on Friday, us. So stay tuned, guys. Thank you. And we'll see you next time.
Stay safe through the
Yep.
Stay
storm.
warm, guys.
Yeah.